Hello, everybody. What's happening, Black people? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to say hello to everybody and how you doing. Also, everybody on Instagram. I want to say what's up on the gram. My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. So if you like intelligent Black conversation, if you like Black people, if you believe that we can do better, that we can elevate, that we can win, that we can become the leaders of the earth and the most economically intelligent group of people on the planet, then put your B1 in the chat. That's what we believe. That's what we do. And also on Spotify, you can look up my name, Boyce Watkins, and find the podcast there. All right. So anyway, as you come in, give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. How many of you heard that Shannon Sharpe just quit on literally one of the most popular shows on television? Give me a yes if you can hear me, by the way. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me all right. I'll make sure I'm coming through all right. Can you hear me? What's up, M. Howard, Tony C. My name is Corey Karen Dorsey, Franklin Longfellow. I have to do an audio check just because I'm in a hotel. My wife and I are about to run a 5K. She's going to do the half. I'm doing the 5K, but health is wealth, and you got to just keep on moving. So anyway, let's jump in and talk about this. Now, somebody says this is gossip. No, actually, you're gossiping because you're speculating on what I'm going to talk about. So you're the gossipy, you're the chatty patty, you're the little girl in the room. I'm not gossiping. I'm talking about some real facts. I'm talking about the real situations that Black men experience, and I'm going to kind of break some of this down for you. So give me a guess if you saw what happened. So basically, Shannon Sharpe, who is hosting one of literally a show that's probably one of the most popular shows on all of television. He just decided he didn't want to be there no more. He decided he wanted to bounce out. He decided that he was done. He decided that he was on his way to doing his own thing, apparently, or doing his thing somewhere else. And he left Fox Sports. That's a big deal because these two guys, they had a winning combination. They were kind of the odd couple, but they really had something that was really rare in the TV space. They actually had the ability to make millions of dollars. Again, we talk about economics, and so Shannon has made millions of dollars from his public persona. He probably made more money doing what he does now than he made playing football. And believe me, I saw Shannon Sharpe throughout his career. He was an excellent football player, but now he's an excellent rainmaker. He's making money. He's making millions of dollars doing this stuff. And so I was really surprised when this happened. I was really kind of shocked. I don't know if any of you expected this to happen or not. And so what this led me to do was I was really curious, like what happened here. And then also, because you guys know we talk about Black economics on this platform and Black people, Black men, I thought that there would be some interesting angles to kind of analyze with this, because as you know, this show was created. I know a lot of guys who are on the Fox network. I know guys who are on ESPN. I know commentators on these shows. And one of the things that's interesting about these shows is that they tend to have a real strong ability to tap into the racial tension that exists in America. Skip Bayless is a 71-year-old white man who likes to control things. He's a 71-year-old. He's almost like an overseer kind of personality. And Shannon Sharpe is, a brother he's younger than Skip. He's about 54, 55. And he's kind of an alpha, right? You got that alpha personality. He is very dominant, very much, a competitor in a lot of ways. And so this was a scenario where you were going to see some natural clashes between these two guys. But I thought they kind of knew how to put it in a box. I kind of thought that maybe they knew how to disagree without it becoming insane, without blowing up the spot. In a way, one of the ways to kind of think about this, and I want to get to this, I promise you I'm getting to an important point in business, because a lot of you are going through things like this, is that a lot of times when you have that fire, when you have two people that are fiery, that are on the same team, and their energy sometimes may collide, it really reminds me of the problem that NASA had when it came to getting rockets off the ground. Let me tell you a story about NASA, and I promise you I'm going to bring it back to Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. So NASA, after World War II, they could not get their rockets in the sky. All their rockets were basically blown up in a few hundred feet off the ground. Why is that? Well, because a rocket is basically a controlled explosion. It's where you take a bunch of chemicals that hate each other and you pull them together. They have a compound. It becomes explosive. And you use the energy from that explosion. Pay attention now. Give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. Give me a yes if you can see where I'm going with this, because y'all know me. I like to elevate the conversation. I keep it pro-Black and I keep it intelligent. So I want to make sure I don't lose anybody. But literally, when you have these chemicals that are exploding, the explosion can either go good or bad, right? If you can control the explosion, then you get a thrust. And the thrust can take you to the stratosphere, right? But if you don't control the explosion, if it gets a little bit out of hand, if it becomes unstable, then kaboom, the shit blows up. It's done. It's gone. So that's what I see when I see these two guys. When I see Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, I see two guys that are good at what they do. I see two guys that are real competitors. I see two guys that are high energy. I see two guys that are very territorial, and I see their energy going back. Skip, you don't know, Skip, no. Well, I think that Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of all time. Skip, that's crazy. Yo, no, right? So they're going back and forth, right? So Skip is the old white guy. You know, he does white guy stuff, right? He loves Tom. He thinks Tom Brady is Jesus. He's very critical on certain black athletes. You know, he tends to say things that, I can't necessarily relate to. I just like a lot of people my age, I relate to Shannon Sharpe, right? Shannon Sharpe's a brother that kind of says some things that make sense to me, but I thought it was really actually smart television. I did not hate the show because really I thought that these two guys were able to do something that's very, very hard to do in this society. In this society, it is really hard because most people just don't have emotional maturity. A lot of people are very judgmental of each other. A lot of people don't have patience. A lot of people don't even have the intelligence to hear another point of view outside their own. I thought these two guys had actually established something that was a beautiful controlled explosion where each guy could come in with their own perspective and fight like hell for their point of view, but still allow each other room and grace to do the same thing on the other side. Right. I thought they had that. Right. Because think about this. If you and I are arguing back and forth, no, man, what are you talking about? That's crazy, man. You out of your mind. A lot of our families have that. My Uncle John, rest in peace. He just passed the other day. So anyway, my Uncle John, that's what I remember watching. Anybody ever have those drunk ass uncles that would go in the kitchen and they holding like everybody got a beer and they hollering and screaming about whether the Cowboys are going to beat the Falcons in the playoffs and they just, no, man, you out your mind. You crazy. That don't make no sense. Right. It was a lot of energy. But everybody got a chance to say what they had to say, and everything was cool. And so with these two guys, I thought that they'd kind of taken these, barbershop-ish kind of arguments, a little bit more than the barbershop, right? Because you got the younger black guy arguing against the old white man. And I thought that I felt like they were able to harness that energy and create something that literally took them into the stratosphere. This show probably has made at least $200 or $300 million since it got started. It's a cash cow for Fox Sports. It's really the only thing I watch on Fox Sports. I don't watch hardly anything. There's a young guy that used to work for me. Oh my gosh. He's Nick something. Nick, I don't have Nick's last name, but Nick used to work for me back at Syracuse. And he's a great journalist. And now he does a great job with Fox. And I know Chris Broussard over there. And so these are super talented guys. But I don't think they're able to do what Skip and Shannon were able to do. I don't think they're able to capture what Skip and Shannon could capture. And so to some extent, there's a part of me that sees this as natural, right? Most of the time, two high energy people that disagree are not going to be able to control the explosion long. Nick Wright, thank you. Nick Wright, I should remember his name. Nick, if you see this, I'm sorry, man. I respect you, though. I love what you're doing over there. I'm so proud of you because Nick is an example of a guy who was super dedicated to his craft. I saw that when he used to work with me back in the radio stations in Syracuse. Now I see him on TV. I'm super proud of this guy. Anyway, with that, and he's married to a black woman, by the way, which tells me that he's intelligent too, right? So he's attracted he was married to a beautiful black woman. They had children, and that tells me that Nick's got some common sense. Shout out to all the beautiful black women out here in this world. So the point of the matter is to say that when Skip and Shannon kind of fell apart, I was a little bit curious. I'm not even going to say sad. I'm not going to say sad because it's not my show. It's not my money. Like, why do I care that much? But it's interesting. It's interesting enough where I'm curious to understand what was going on here. And I like dissecting the racial dynamics. Now, do me a favor, guys. If you could, please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. We are 100% B1. We have a movie coming out this summer called B1 the Movie. We don't work for Fox Sports. We don't work for ESPN. We own our own media, and we make movies. And we have a great movie coming out this summer. It's directed by Rick Mathis. It's got all your stars in this movie: Riza Islam, Brother Nuri Muhammad, Vicky Dillard, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. George C. Frazier, all these amazing black people who literally break down what our community needs. We're going to release it. We're going to do a sneak peek in Atlanta at the Juneteenth Festival, and then we're going to release the film at the All Black National Convention. Also, I want to give a shout out to one of the sponsors of this podcast, Aisha Verzi. She is a really smart Black woman that can really help you when it comes to your economics and particularly your insurance, things like that. She's an independent licensed and insured insurance agent in 16 states. She helps families with insurance services. Everybody needs insurance. IULs, Index Universal Life. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but those are really great investment vehicles. Term with living benefits. Make sure you get your insurance. Make sure you're prepared, because I know a guy who was in his 50s. He thought, he had a young girlfriend, and he just died. He had a stroke and he died, and his girlfriend was left ass out because she had no legal rights. They had nothing in place, no policies in place. So I don't want that to happen to you, because death kind of pops up on you. But anyway, Aisha covers whole life policies, consultations for debt management, final expenses, funeral planning, etc. She's kind of a one-stop shop. So her information, I'm going to put it on the screen. That's her email, and that is also her phone number. So you can feel free to email and make a phone call to Aisha. Tell her that Dr. Boyce sent you, and Aisha is going to treat you well. She's a friend to the Black Business School, so I'm going to be a friend to her. If you want us to support your Black-owned business, just go to drboycefinance.com and talk to Micah. Micah can put you in our platform. All right, so let me hop into this. So if you just came in, we're talking about Shannon Sharpe basically walking out abruptly on the Fox Sports show that he had with Skip Bayless. This was very surprising to me. There's been a lot of activity on Twitter lately in terms of Shannon kind of liking tweets that maybe he's not allowed to actually say himself. I hope they don't do a Kyrie Irving on him and mess up his agreement because he liked the tweet. But anyway, Shannon has been kind of subtly communicating through the tweets that he likes and the things that he hearts on Twitter that he has an issue with Skip. I'm going to bet every nickel in my bank account that this brother is fed up with Skip. From what I have read, Skip Bayless is a guy that likes to control things. He's a guy that, at least in this article I'm reading from Front Office Sports, they said that basically Skip is 71 years old. He likes to basically micromanage his shows. He wants to get the green light on whoever they pick to replace Shannon, and it's almost as if Skip wants to have some Black guy that's going to kind of not challenge him too much, almost like he comes into the show with a specific hierarchy. How much of this is related to race, I don't know, but there is kind of a little bit of a master slave kind of scenario going on here. But really, you talk about this plantation feel of the show. I don't know, anybody else get that feeling when you're watching the show? Like you feel like you're watching a plantation fight where the massa is like battling the slave that's actually becoming more popular than him, that's becoming more successful than him, that's probably maybe becoming wealthier than him. I mean, Shannon has this show Club Shay Shay that seems to be doing pretty well. So Shannon is elevating, right? He's doing his thing. He's kicking ass and taking names. And it seems like Skip may have some issues with that. At least that's what people are kind of speculating. I can't say that for sure. However, I'm going to say this. Here's why I'm going to go with this. And this is where I'm going to relate it to you, because it's not so much about what the celebrities are doing. I'm really talking about what intelligent Black people are doing. And Skip is an intelligent Black man, but he's also on a plantation himself. Fox Sports is a plantation. ESPN is a plantation. The thing about these plantations is that they love to put Black faces on TV. And the reason they put Black faces on TV is because the Black man is the greatest athlete on the planet. The African-American male is literally the closest living thing on this planet to a superhero. We are literally like, if they were making Marvel movies and they had to put real people in these movies, every single person in that movie would be Black, except maybe Tom Brady and Larry Bird, each of which have no athletic ability whatsoever. Seriously, that maybe those guys would get in because somehow they found a way to wiggle in and compete with the brothers with no talent. Larry Bird, his vertical leap was about 2 inches off the ground. Tom Brady was slower than an old fat man at the age of 21. Black brothers don't do that. We are the greatest. We are extraordinary when it comes to sports. If you ever want to see the greatest example of Black genetic domination in sports, just watch the Olympic finals of the men's 100-meter dash, the women too. Just watch the Olympic finals of the men's 100-meter dash. Most of the time in the Olympic finals of the men's 100-meter dash, there is almost never a white person. Almost every single person is Black. Almost every single they might be from Jamaica or the United States, or maybe or if they run for like the Netherlands or something, it's somebody that they basically immigrated from another country, right? So basically we are the shit, right? We're extraordinary. And then also on top of that, you've got a lot of athletes that are smart guys too. One guy that I'm connected with that I really respect tremendously is a guy named Dr. Myron Roll. Did anybody know about Dr. Roll? Dr. Myron Roll, I have so much respect for this guy. He sent me a copy of his book. He reached out and said, "Hey, Doc, can I send you a copy of my book?" I said, "Absolutely. I respect you." Myron Roll was so smart that, first of all, Myron Roll was an All-American defensive back at Florida State. He was a first-round pick in the NFL draft. But Dr. Myron Roll wanted to be a surgeon. He literally wanted to be a surgeon. And so Dr. Roll took off. He said, "I'm not going right to the NFL. I want to go become a Rhodes Scholar and fulfill my destiny as a scholar before I become an athlete." So he went off and became a Rhodes Scholar. Then he came back to the NFL, had a few good years. I think it may have been Tampa Bay he played for. I can't remember exactly, but he was a damn good player in the NFL. Now he's a doctor. Now he's doing surgeries and stuff, right? So this is, to me, I can see this being, just an opportunity for those people who understand our talent, but also a fear and a concern, right? So when you're dealing with a man or men who are not just physically dominant, but also incredibly intelligent, that can be somewhat intimidating. I can understand that. So when you have that kind of intimidating energy, your first objective as the overseer, in my view, is to control that energy. And I think that there's an effort to kind of control men who are not really meant to be controlled. I don't think Shannon Sharpe is a guy that is built to be, somebody's backup singer or secondary, sidekick or whatever. I think Shannon Sharpe is a guy who he carries himself in a boss-like framework. But the thing that contrasts or contradicts that for us a little bit is that when you look at places like ESPN and Fox, those are plantations. When you look at who's getting the big money from these multi-billion-dollar assets, it's not black people that are getting that. If you look at who's controlling the direction of Fox, it shows hell ain't black people. Fox Sports is connected to Fox News, which is connected to 21st Century Fox. Fox. Well, Fox was founded by someone from the Jewish community. If you read the book, How the Jews Invented Hollywood, which is not an anti-Semitic book at all. I don't get into anti-Semitism. I told Kanye West, I said, "Brother, I'm not interested in sitting around complaining about Jewish people with you, because I actually want to study how they obtain so much economic power." So I want to make that clear. But if you look back and you go to the history of how 21st Century Fox was started, it was started by people who had less power than you have right now. It was started by people who had less wealth than you have right now. It was started by people who were oppressed, similar to the way you're oppressed right now, probably more so. And so effectively, the mindset has to grow with the desire for power. You're desiring to be the leader of that space. Well, then that's where you have to start taking those risks. And I'm not saying that Shannon's not doing that. I'm not saying that at all. But one thing I know, when I talk to my friends who work at ESPN and also at Fox Sports, one thing a brother said to me that really got my attention was, he said that they started putting more black men on these shows because they noticed that black men were watching the shows all day. They noticed that black men had the highest unemployment rate in America, so they were more likely to be home during the day. So they started putting black men on these TV shows so that black men would be watching these shows. So effectively, they saw you as an economic opportunity. And so they did what Disney does. Disney just got a little black mermaid to be in a Disney movie. But I can tell you that though that $1 billion that movie's going to make is not going to, 95% of it ain't going to the black community. 95% of that Little Mermaid money ain't going to the black community. 95% of that money is going to shareholders of Disney, mostly non-black, and that's where that wealth is going. So when I look at ESPN, when I look at Fox Sports, and I see what Shannon's dealing with, I remember Stephen A. Smith. He ran into a white woman problem years ago. He said something that offended one of the white women who was part of the Me Too movement, a very entitled woman. She felt so entitled that she literally did something that was a specific violation of company policy. I'll never forget this. She went on the air, she went on Twitter, and she basically attacked him. She dogged out his brand on Twitter. Well, at ESPN and Fox Sports, places like that, they have specific things in your contract that say you cannot go online and disparage the brands of other people that are on this show. You can't go and shoot the person who's sitting in the same room with you. You can't do that on Twitter. You'll be fired. Well, she violated company policy. And you know what happened? The next day, Stephen A. was still apologizing. He still had to apologize. And I was like, why are you apologizing? You didn't even do anything wrong. But that's what happens. You're in the master's house. When the master say, "Bitch, apologize," you're going to apologize. So that's one of the reasons why I have no desire to be in the master's house. I don't care. They can offer me $18 trillion. I'd have no interest in doing that. So what I would love to see is this. And I'm going to tell you what I would like to see, actually. Give me 1 second. If you would allow me just 1 minute to give a thanks to Dr. Q's Fresh Breath Club, which is also one of the sponsors of this podcast. Dr. Q is a brilliant dentist out of St. Louis. And this brilliant dentist took the time to create a set of dental products that are Black owned, that are extraordinarily good. And he's very much he's 100% B1. He's into building Black owned businesses. He also wants you to have good teeth and fresh breath and all that stuff. So if you'll take a second, write that URL down, visit drqsfreshbreathclub.com. Also, there's a money making opportunity. If you know other people in your life who brush their teeth, which hopefully is everybody, you can actually become an affiliate and you can sell his products and get 20% of the money. I'm an affiliate with Dr. Q's Fresh Breath Club. So feel free to take a look at that. He's going to be at the All Black National Convention with us in October. So you'll get to meet him in person if you'd like. He's a brilliant brother. He came and he told a story about a Black owned hospital called the Homer G. Phillips Hospital that was in St. Louis that Black people used to own. And we lost that. Integration took that away from us. So basically, we're not going to let that happen anymore. We're going to integrate with ourselves so that we can actually become the owners and the controllers of our destiny. So there's his URL. I'm going to leave it on the screen so you guys can take a look. If you'd like to sponsor this podcast or come on here and share your business or whatever, feel free to go to drboycefinance.com and just talk to them. Let them know that you'd like me to shout out your brand. All right, so let me talk about this too. So with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe and this departure of ways, one of the things that makes me think about too is something that I've discussed with you guys before about relationships and business. Now somebody says, can you put the link in the chat? You know what? I can't put it in the chat on it because I got big old gorilla thumbs. And if I start, that's my phone. And if I try to put it in the Instagram chat, I'm going to mess it up. So if someone can type drqsfreshbreathclub.com in there, it's literally spelled like that, I would appreciate it. Or you can go to drboycetv.com and you can watch the video. So I'm so sorry I can't put it in there. All right. Anyway, so when you hear about Shannon Sharpe leaving the show, one of the things that makes me think about is I've talked to you guys extensively about how relationships and relationship management is extremely important when you build something that's good. It's very, very hard, very, very difficult to achieve the level of success that Shannon and Skip had. Whether you like Skip or not, you like Shannon or not, they were winning. They were a winning combo. They were kind of like the Odd Couple. If you're old enough to remember the Odd Couple, that show did really well because you had a grumpy old guy and some young guy who had a whole different personality. So these two were kind of the Odd Couple, and I felt like it worked. They would get to yelling and going back and forth and everything else. Well, now apparently it's become too much, and now Shannon's gone, and I don't know if Skip is going to be able to recapture the same magic by just replacing Shannon. Right. And the thing is that this happens a lot in business. I've seen this happen a million times where you finally find that winning combination. And these two guys, I wonder if they're dealing with this too. Ego is a bitch. Arrogance will ruin everything that you have. I would encourage anybody who finds success, don't ever let anybody make you think that being humble is a bad thing. Humility will protect you from yourself. Why is that? Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. Fame is a drug. Money is a drug. Power is a drug. All of these things, they literally are drugs. They affect your brain the same way cocaine affects your brain. And what happens is that when you get high on that dope, the dope of fame, the dope of power, the dope of success, you sometimes lose yourself. You sometimes lose your ability to make rational decisions. Sometimes you start feeling yourself a little too much. You ever see that with somebody get a little money and they start really thinking that like I am the SHIT? You know what I mean? Or maybe they get a little bit of power, or maybe you think about a girl who used to be big and whatever, and then suddenly she starts looking good. She loses weight and gets her hair done, and then suddenly she starts becoming the most arrogant person in the room. Or a guy that has a come up where he used to be a scrub, now he's winning, and now he's like just literally unbearable in terms of arrogance. Well, this can happen a lot. I'm not saying this is happening with these two guys, but I'm going to say this. One thing that was utilized to describe the personalities of Skip and Shannon that I saw in the media was that these two guys are alphas. There's a really smart guy named Marcellus Wiley who went on, who was on Twitter or something somewhere, and he said these two guys are alphas, and that could cause a collision, and this could be the end of that show. And part of the whole alpha persona is, like look at me, like I'm the man, and I got to be the man. There can only be one man, right? And I'm gonna tell you, if you ever want to destroy something great, come in there with that attitude. Like, I got to be the man. Because one day you're going to run into another man that want to be the man. And then it's going to be the last man standing. And then that last man is going to be standing by himself. Right? Seriously. Let me give you a good example. Has anybody ever noticed, this is quiet as kept. I don't even think Kevin Hart's that funny, to be honest with you. But has anybody noticed how many movies Kevin Hart has done with The Rock? Has anybody ever noticed how many movies these two guys have done together? You ever pay attention to that? Kevin Hart and The Rock combined have probably, in my estimation, have probably earned about $3 billion for various networks. They've literally probably generated $3 billion in box office sales from the movies they've done together. These two have formed a winning combination. These two are winners. They're winning, at least based on fame, power, success, all that. And neither one of these guys, I don't have any problem with the way they build their brands. They're not doing things stupid or ridiculous, right? And maybe you could make the argument a little bit, but not so much. Well, I remember listening to Kevin Hart talk about their relationship, and I was really impressed because one thing Kevin Hart went out of his way to discuss was he talked about how neither one of us is competitive with the other one. He says his success is my success. My success is his success. He cheers for me. I cheer for him. And imagine this. These are two guys who are very successful, very confident, very powerful. They could easily do, and I've seen this. I've seen people who have a little bit of success who walk in the room and literally just it's like a stink bomb in the room. Like nobody who with an ounce of self-esteem even wants to be around that person because they're like, wait a minute. So in order for me to work with you, I got to let you belittle me. I'm not going to let you belittle me. I've gone through that. I've dealt with that. I'm not going to say no names, but I've dealt with some people that that I can say their names. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Where I was in there like, wait a minute, who the F are you talking to, man? You talking to me like I'm a kid, but I'm a grandfather, dude. You're not ever going to talk to me like that, right? And the thing about it is that when you so my point is to say that if you really are the man and you really know that you're that dude and you really know that you've got that talent and you know you're that successful, why in the hell are you so dysfunctional that you got to let everybody know? I'm the man. I'm the this. I'm the that. You know what that tells me? You know what that screams? You know what that screams? Mental illness. That screams insecurity. That means your dumbass needs a therapist because you're alienating everybody with your behavior. It's like even in basketball, you have some players who just want to always get the ball and always want to hog the ball. Nobody wants to play with him. LeBron, I love LeBron James for one simple reason. You know why I love LeBron? Because LeBron makes all his teammates better. LeBron knows he's LeBron. He knows he's like, I know I'm King James. I know when I need to call in my superpower to get us over the hump. I know how great I am, but I want you to be great too. So LeBron is not a boss. LeBron is a leader. That's what a leader does. A leader says, yes, I am as great as I can be. I can't be stopped. But guess what? As a team, we're even greater. And if I can get the best out of you and the best out of me, then that means 2 + 2 = 8. We're going to go out here, we're going to kill it because we're going to work together in a cooperative spirit where together as a unit, we can become gang affiliated and we can all become the alpha of this space if that's what we want to do. We can win a championship together. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't know what happened here. I don't know who's did what or whatever, but really I think you got to be real careful in these alpha conversations because really the true sign of a truly intelligent strategic leader is when you're able to have enough emotional intelligence to settle your ego down and make sure that everything's okay in the space within which you operate. Because if you don't, you're going to create enemies. So people will either walk away from you or they will conspire to destroy you. One or the other. One or the other. You come in there with disrespecting people. Oh, they're gonna tackle that ass the minute they smell blood in the water. The people you thought that had your back are gonna come and stab you straight in your back because they've been waiting. They've been like, oh, wait till that motherfucker fall off. I'm gonna take him out. I'm gonna take him out. He done disrespected me. You dissed me in front of my girl. So emotional intelligence is really important when you're talking about trying to build and develop things. I've been very open with you guys. I told you, I love telling everybody like how crazy I am and the fact that I love talking to my therapist. And I don't talk to my therapist because I'm broken or because I feel weak or I have anxiety or depression. I talk to my therapist because I want to see my blind spots. I talk to my therapist because I need somebody that's going to help me grow outside of myself. I talk to my therapist so I can make sure I properly show up for the people that matter to me and that I don't go through life self-sabotaging in my relationships like a lot of us do. We sabotage ourselves. So you'll be in a situation where you're winning. You got a good man or a good woman, but because you didn't work through your trauma, you destroyed the relationship because you either got some crazy insecurities or some arrogance or some false beliefs, and you end up hurting the people that are closest to you. And then next thing you know, you're by yourself. So ultimately, what I'm looking at with this, here's what I'm going to get back to. So you talk about Skip and Shannon. I wonder what happened with this partnership. I know that from what I read, it sounds like maybe both of them kind of have this, this strong. I'm not going to say ego, but very high self-esteem. Let's say that because I don't want to be critical. And I know that I read somewhere that Skip likes to control every single thing about his show, and I don't think that's going to work with a guy like a Shannon Sharpe. I don't think Shannon is a person that easily folds into whatever little preset agenda you might have for how the show's going to go. So maybe Shannon's looking for a space that's going to be more collaborative or allow him to have a little more control. And I think he's in a perfect position to do that. Club Shay Shay is doing really well on the internet. Maybe he's going to create a network. I would love to see him actually reach his fullest potential. Let me tell you what I really see with that. And actually, I'm going to make this point, then I'm going to conclude. By the way, I want to remind everybody, my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. We are Black first. That's what B1 means. Also, if you go to my website, boycewatkins.com, I've got some free resources there to help you build wealth. My PhD is in finance, in case you don't know. And so if you go to boycewatkins.com, I did a training that's free called How to Make Money Without Working. Rich people make money without working. That's something that I want you to learn how to do. And I definitely want that for your kids. Also, there's some other stuff there. My new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It's an Amazon bestseller, so feel free to go to Amazon to grab a copy. All right, so hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. Just look up Boyce Watkins on Spotify if you like intelligent Black conversations. My goal is to make you smarter and to make you richer, and I believe that we can do both. And I also want to make you happier. So those are the three things that we want to accomplish here. All right, the last thing I want to say here is this. I mentioned earlier the nature of the ESPN and the Fox Sports plantations. Here you have these entities that are owned by predominantly white folks that have a lot of Black faces on them. This is a standard move in entertainment, right? We put a Black face on it to convince certain people to appreciate the content, but really when you're in the back counting the money, it's the white guys that are counting the money. There are a couple of Black people that get a little crumb or two, but for the most part, these are white-owned entities that don't have the ability to elevate the masses of Black people. What they do instead is they elevate a couple of Black people, a couple of Negroes on TV that everybody looks up to, and they say this is Black success. And I think that's fine. I'm not dogging that. I'm not attacking anybody, especially not Shannon Sharpe, especially not Shannon Sharpe, because I like Shannon. I really like him a lot. But here's what I need y'all to understand. There has never in the history of whiteness been a white-owned organization that has elevated the masses of Black people in a significant way. Let me repeat that. There has never in the history of all whiteness, or in the history of this country, ever been a predominantly white-owned organization that has elevated the masses of Black people. I don't care how many Negroes they put on the air. I don't care how many Black people they hire. I don't care how many Black people they put out as the face of the organization. There's never been a white-owned entity, non-Black-owned entity that has had the ability to elevate the masses of Black people. What do I mean by the masses? I'm talking about something that really, really affects millions of people, something that really creates like 100,000 jobs in the Black community. So what I'm waiting for, here's what I'm waiting for, and I believe we're going to see it by the year 2070, because we're planting the seeds now. By the year 2070, we're going to see this. I want to see the real business alphas pop out. I want to see the real business leaders come out. And what I mean by that are not Black people on TV. I'm not talking about some rapper who made $5 million last year. I'm not talking about somebody who's on the Forbes list. I'm not talking about Diddy selling his vodka, where apparently, there's another company that's actually telling him what to do. That's why he's suing the company right now. No disrespect to Diddy, but he's not it. I'm talking about somebody who becomes the Black version of Elon Musk or the Black version of Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk created 1 million jobs. 1 million jobs. Jeff Bezos created 1.5 million jobs. What I'm looking for, and I would love to see Shannon consider this. And if Shannon watches this, you can call me, man. I'd be happy to talk to you free of charge. I'd tell you what I know and support you any way I can. I would love to see these guys get together. Can you imagine this? Visualize this. Imagine if Shannon Sharpe with LeBron James, with 4 or 5 other high-profile athletes got together And let's say they didn't put a penny of their money into it. We don't want your money, but your influence is magnificent, right? It's not the money. It's not money in your bank account. You can invest if you want to, but it's really not your money that's your greatest asset. It's your influence. It's your reach. It's your swag. It's that Twitter account that's got 10 million, 20 million followers. That's your real reach. That's your real power. So imagine these guys all got together and said, let's form a professional sports league, and let's all make an agreement that we're all going to use our social media platforms to ensure that we get eyeballs on these games. Everybody who follows me is going to see a broadcast, a live stream broadcast of this sports league on our platform. So I got 10 million followers. He got 12 million. He got 14 million. Next thing you know, 100 million people have the ability to watch your games. It can literally be high school kids playing. They don't even have to be professionals. They don't have to be that good. But you have the ability to brand teams. You have the ability to do what the NFL did, except 10 times more. 100 years ago, the NFL, they were buying the Chicago Bears for like $50. They were buying like the Green Bay Packers for $100. So if they could do that back then with limited resources, what can our prize athletes and millionaire celebrities do today? And then again, I'm not talking about you writing a check and putting up your money. Again, I'm not talking about your money. I'm talking about the fact that you also have plenty of white people that love you. You have plenty of banks and corporations that want to be down with you. When they see you got the numbers and you have the influence, well, guess what? They're going to want to sign on for deals. This is where the intelligent black people come into play. This is where you can go and you can hire your agents and your lawyers and your accountants and your marketing managers and your ad people from the intelligent black community. I'm talking about all the black people out here who are not 6'8", 250 pounds. I'm talking about all the black people who don't know how to get on stage and tell jokes, but instead went to college and got a degree in accounting. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the black people who can dribble basketballs and throw footballs and bust a rap. I'm talking about black people who have master's degrees and PhDs and JDs and everything else, where they can come in and develop the infrastructure that allows you to just suck in that corporate sponsorship money. So next thing you know, you've got a sports league that's being seen by tens of millions of people every single week. Why? Well, because you've committed yourself to pouring your energy and your influence into something that is yours and that is black, as opposed to pouring your influence and energy into Fox Sports' Negro pie. Or pouring your energy and influence into the ESPN, Negro Crumb section that they create just to make sure black people keep on watching. I'm not dissing any of those people that are on these networks. I'm not talking about these networks in particular, but I'm telling you that I believe that there's a better way. I think Shannon Sharpe is showing that he's kind of outgrown this opportunity. I think that's excellent. Now that you've outgrown this opportunity, the question is, what is the next step? I think that the next step needs to be something that is big. I think that the next step needs to be something that is collaborative. I think the next step needs to be something that leverages all of the relationships that you have, that leverages all of the people that follow you, something that leverages your connections to these corporations and entities out there. This is what I wanted Deion Sanders to do down at Jackson State. I wasn't dissing Deion for going to Colorado. I just didn't understand why Deion would have to do that. I didn't get it. I didn't understand why you got to go to Colorado to make $5 million a year. I've made $5 million a year, and I ain't going no goddamn where. I've done that. So I'm like, they gave you, that's all they gave you? They gave you $5 million a year? So you don't have enough people around you that can help you take the $1 billion empire you're building and monetize it effectively enough that you can't make 5 or 10 million a year and still stay in Jackson? You're getting I know we had disagreements about it. I know that there was debate. I respect all those debates. But black people, you need to understand that your ticket to the top typically ain't gonna go through no job. The job elevator stops at the 8th floor. It does not take you to the penthouse. The penthouse is the 30th floor. The job elevator will take you to the 8th floor and then tell your black ass that you better be happy with what you got. That's all the job elevator will take you. So celebrating a black person, a black man or woman who gets a great job is not nearly as important as celebrating all the black people who are starting a great business. Celebrating the black people who got hired somewhere is not as important as celebrating the black people who are making an investment. The black people I'm looking at are not the ones who are on TV. It's the ones who are developing networks, who are planting seeds, building infrastructure. How do I know these things? Well, because maybe it's my background that makes me see it differently. I get that, right? I'm trying to help you see it. I hope you trust me enough to believe me when I tell you that there is something more beautiful out there. You got to have the eyeballs to see it. I'm hanging out with my friend Kim. She was on the podcast this morning. Kim and I that's been my homegirl since I was 15. Love Kim. I used to copy off her test in accounting class when I was 15 years old, and we went to college together and all that. It's my buddy. Anyway, Kim works at a company called UPS. And UPS is a company that has a market value right now of approximately $300 billion. Do you know how UPS got started? UPS got started because there were two teenagers 100 years ago who were delivering packages on their bikes. You talk about a raggedy ass little business that nobody respected. These were two kids delivering packages on their bikes. And those two teenagers who deliver packages on their bikes, if they had not chosen to do that, then there would be no UPS today. So if two teenagers delivering packages on their bikes in a couple of generations can create an economic behemoth like UPS that probably makes $1 billion a day, then what do you think a Shannon Sharpe, partner with a LeBron James, partner with a Steve Harvey, partner with a Kevin Hart, a partner with whatever other celebrities they got in their circle, what do you think they could actually create? Am I talking crazy? Or am I like weird? Am I a weirdo for throwing this out there? You know, so I just really want to see more from us. I think we can do more. I really want to challenge us. You know, if you're talking about trying to really be the leader and have this thing called freedom and controlling your own destiny, well, those are big boy battles. Those are big boy games. And to do big boy games, you got to do big boy shit. You can't be this other man's sidekick for the rest of your life. You have to have a point where you are okay with him not liking you, him condemning you, him blackballing you, and just saying that's all right because I got something better going on over here anyway. I love what I'm doing so much over here. This is my life. This is my life, by the way. I love what I'm doing over here so much that when they blackball me over there, I don't even notice. I don't notice. It's like me being married to the most beautiful woman in the world, which I am, by the way, and then some other girl saying, "Well, I'm not gonna date you no more." I don't give a shit. I don't know you. I ain't even thinking about you. I'm thinking about my wife. I'm committed to this over here. This is 10 times better than whatever you were trying to offer me over there. So ultimately, as Black people, I think that self-esteem is an important part of this process. I think us really, really setting standards and expectations are everything. We have to do that. We do not want to continue to curse ourselves with the curse of low expectations. That's what we do. We're cursed with the virus of low expectations, and it keeps us flat and non-transcendent throughout our lives, and we end up missing what I think God has in store for us. So that's my vision. That's what I want to see. And if Shannon sees this video, man, brother, you can call me. I know people that know you, so you can call me. I will talk to you all night and tell you everything I think. And again, I don't want not one nickel for my time. I'd be more than happy to tell you what I know and support you in everything that you do. So I want to let you guys know, I want to make it clear, I am Team Shannon. Because I just think he's doing a great job and I think he's excellent at what he does. And I wish him the very best. All right, guys. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, if you want to check out that training on how to make money without working, it's at boycewatkins.com. Feel free to do that. My new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can find a copy on Amazon or you can find it on my website. Also, the B1 convention, the All Black National Convention, is going to happen October 20th. In Atlanta at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. So if you go to allblacknationalconvention.com or you can go to boycewatkins.com, either way, I put the information up there. It's the exclusive B1 gathering of B1 people from all over the world. Last year we had a great conference. We had Larry Miller, the former CEO of the Air Jordan brand. We had billionaire Mike Roberts. We had a lot of other brilliant people from areas related to health, politics. Julian Gordon, the real estate expert who actually helped Black people acquire $250 million worth of real estate. He was there. So we have great people like that you can hang out with, learn from. And the best part of it is that there's just love in the air. So if you want to feel good for a couple of days and learn a lot and be prepared to go to the next level, join us at the convention, allblacknationalconvention.com. All right, guys, have a good day. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. And I will check back in with you again soon. Now I got to go apologize to my wife because I told her I'd be talking to y'all for 10 minutes. But I love y'all too much. So I told her, baby, I said I might be an hour. So I'll talk to you later. Have a good day. Take care now. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.